The average lifespan in 1800 was 40 years of age. And now, a little over 200 years later, in 2021, that number has almost doubled. Now, it's nearing 80 years of age. We got there, but it took quite a while. What if we could increase the quality of our lifespan while simultaneously increasing the length? Imagine walking into your annual doctor's checkup and walking out feeling 10 years younger. This isn't figurative. Imagine literally walking out of the checkup as the same health as you were 10 years ago. Wrinkles, joint pain, bye-bye. While this doesn't have to stay in your imagination, it can become a reality by 10xing the process of monitoring these senescent cells in our bodies, otherwise known as zombie cells. Take a look at the perpetrator of age, senescent cells. When we get older, we eventually get sicker, and then our risk of death increases. This increase in death risk is essentially age. One of the key hallmarks that contribute to this risk are the buildup of non-functioning, non-dividing cells in our body. They just stay there and don't go away, doing absolutely nothing, just taking up space. For a bit of context as to why this happens, basically, our body, as you might know, is made up of billions of cells. These cells are constantly dividing, which means they also have to replicate their DNA each time. This is called DNA replication. However, DNA replication is in no means perfect. DNA replication always skips over the ends of our chromosomes to prevent important genetic information from being cut out. These ends are called telomeres. You can think of them as those little plastic bits at the end of our shoelaces. Each time we go on a run, the shoelaces eventually wear out and get shorter and shorter and shorter. And this is exactly what happens to our chromosomes. These telomeres start to shorten and eventually disappear. And cell division stops once these telomeres shorten to a certain length. This is the start of cell senescence, where those cells become undividing, non-functioning, and a nuisance. But I mean, cell senescence isn't all that bad. It ensures there's no uncontrollable cell division, which is the cause of cancer. However, the problems arise once these cells don't actually kill themselves. Generally, once a cell stops dividing and stops its function, the cell induces apoptosis, which is programmed cell death, so the cell dies. However, on the other hand, long-term senescent cells don't actually die. They just stay in your body, non-functioning, non-dividing, and just taking up room. And the thing is, these senescent cells eventually affect surrounding cells as well, building up a tumor of senescent cells. There are a lot of other hallmarks of aging as well, some we've not even figured out yet, but for this video, we're going to be focusing on the buildup of senescent cells and that particular hallmark. A treatment for this particular hallmark has already been trialed and tested, and it is the use of senolytic drugs, or anti-aging drugs. Senolytics are like sensors. They go, senescent cell, bad, kill. And then they keep moving and they say, good, dividing cell, good, keep moving. This drug specifically targets the reason why these cells don't die. So why don't they die? For most cases, we can thank the lovely proteins BCL-W and BCL-XL. These proteins are like those annoying pop-up ads. They come out of nowhere and you're just left sitting there staring at the screen until that 30-second timer is over. These proteins act the same way, except there is no timer. They stay there forever. BCL-W and BCL-XL act as anti-apoptopic proteins, so basically anti-death proteins. They do this by preventing the release of contents in the mitochondria, like cytochrome C, which would have then led to caspase activation, which then triggers apoptosis in the cell. These two proteins basically take away that X button when you try clicking off an ad. So an answer seems obvious. Why don't we just inhibit these two proteins? Well, exactly. That's what a senolytic drug does. They inhibit BCL-W and BCL-XL by using small interfering RNAs, or siRNAs. In another instance, the small molecule ABT737 is also used. And this molecule is specifically for inducing apoptosis in senescent cells. These senolytics give you that X button, effectively killing off the advertisement. Essentially, the overexpression of this particular protein family is a key indicator of a senescent cell, which the senolytic can then specifically pick out and eliminate. It's a key differentiating factor. Alright, but wait, what if we could take this one step further? The current senolytics typically come in pill form, and they don't actually give the body the full treatment. The full treatment is only possible at the nano-scale. What about pairing already existing nanocarriers with senolytics? Nano-Encapsulation. Briefly, this is the process of carrying drugs into the body at a nanoscale, so at a billionth of a meter. So what are the three things this nanocarrier must do? First, enter the body. Second, detect the senescent cell. And third, and lastly, release the senolytic. I've researched into the possibility of senolytic nano-encapsulation, which involves loading nanoparticles with diameters 1 to 1000 nanometers with senolytics in a solid phase. It then enters the body, and the senolytic is then sent out to every single part of our body, effectively targeting every cell. Okay, but why senolytic nanoencapsulation? Sure, it sounds cool, but what's really the benefit here? Well, nanoencapsulation actually increases the drug's efficacy, targeting ability, and specificity. As a bonus, it also reduces the systematic toxicity associated with using drugs. Basically, it 10x's the senolytic process, while also extending to almost every part of our body. It's the ideal treatment for the futuristic clinics where we can go for a checkup and get our senescent cells wiped out completely, safely. This research is a step towards this possible reality. So let's get those clinics up and running, and maybe even extend our health span to 80 while we're at it. I hope you learned lots in this video and maybe even a spark of interest in the field of aging. If you're interested and want to talk more, you can connect with me on any of my socials, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, feel free. And for future updates on this project and any other aging, science, life content, don't forget to subscribe.